to episode 24 of Out of My Depth in Paradise. I am the FM Novice. We're playing in the FA Cup final today against Stade Linite away. We are the holders of this competition, and we're playing against a side that have never won it, but against a side that have been the thorn in our backside for the last few seasons. Though we did beat them to the league title this season. We haven't played any games since we were last together, so there's no point showing you that. So we'll go straight into today's game. Today's lineup is Edson Fred in goal. Schumacher Sofolo is our right back. Our left back is Silifinfo, Henriette, Jerome Lister and Lebonga. Waniza are my two central defenders. 4 of that back 5 are recent new gens into my squad. Lesperance is from the right wing. Law is from the left wing. Waniza, Suzette and another new guy, Mbunga Bibi, are my 3 central midfielders. And Sandiel Ernesta is up front for us today. Also to be included in today's episode will be a look back on the season and a little bit of a season review, but that will come after this game, obviously. In a lot of ways, I'm not overly fussed about the result. Yes, I would like a victory, but if we didn't win, we're still going to be in the Champions League next season. We've already achieved that. Lesperance scores a cracker to open the goal. Found by a long ball over the top, and he slams it into the back of the net. 1-0 up after 8 minutes. We're already in the Champions League next season, so whatever happens, that's not going to change. The winners of this competition get into the, as we should have been 1-1 there, get into the secondary African Continental Cup, the Confederations Cup, I think it's called. So we're not going to be in that anyway. So I think Stade Linite are going to be in that anyway. We will play Stade Linite as the curtain raiser for next season, because that's the Super Cup, so that's not going to change regardless of whether we win or lose. Financially, we're not going to gain a huge amount from winning this game either. So in a lot of ways, this game doesn't really mean a huge amount. But I want to show it to you just in case we do win something after the sort of the lackluster ending to yesterday's episode, as we won our game and the other game wasn't played at the same time, so we had to sort of wait for the next game to be gone through. A very, very dull, boring half of football we've just witnessed. Lesperon's goal is the only difference after 8 minutes, putting us 1-0 up. Team talk is going to be relatively simple for us, boys. The fans have been fantastic for us. They're the ones who pay your wages, even though all of you are non-contract, so you don't actually get any official wage, you just get appearance fees. And apparently that doesn't really go down well, and Carlos Law is seeming confused and demotivated because he knows that he doesn't actually get a wage. And that's our captain knowing that. Handing over to the rest of the assistants, see if they can get any better. We don't, so we start at the second half. Not my strongest team talk ever, but as I say, I'm not massively fussed about the result in this one. It's all about just seeing the game out, then reviewing the season. It's been a sensational season. We've won the league, so it's always going to be a positive part to the season. I'm glad this game wasn't a episode on its own, because this would be a very, very short, quick episode with not a lot happening as we approach the 70th minute of the game. We will look to the substitute bench. I'm going to give Tamsaka Anakora give him a bit of a run around. He is the reason why we're into this final, because he scored the first goal in our sensational comeback against Seychelles United, where we were 2-0 down after 86 minutes and ended up winning 5-2 on after extra time. And Bibi is also knackered now, so Jeremiah Rose, our permanent substitute, is going to come on as well in that midfield role for the last 9.5 minutes of this game. And we just sort of talk between ourselves as the game sort of comes to an end. But is there going to be a goal here? Marie on the ball into Agafinfi, but he shots over the bar, and that is the first opportunity that Stade Linite have had, and that's only the third highlight of the game as we're into stoppage time. Suzette with a corner, whips in, cleared away, and the final whistle goes. Lesperance's strike early on in the game after only 8 minutes was the only bit of quality in the game, but as you can see, the Anse Reunion boys are happy. We're celebrating, and that is a cup final in the bag, and that probably does mean we're now top, or I'm now top, of the Seychelles Hall of Fame. And to be honest with you, that wasn't exactly a challenge. So we're not technically top of that Hall of Fame yet. We are second, because you only seem to get points for winning a domestic division, and we have won 2 cup. We've won the league twice, so that's 2 points for every league we've won, but you don't get any points for winning domestic cups. So we've got 4 points, and no one else apart from the Stade Linite manager has got anything else. Looking at what I've achieved since we joined the club, 2 Super Cup wins, 3 FA Cup wins, 2 Premier League titles and 1 Airtel Magic Cup. This season we won the treble. Not bad considering the average age of this side is only 19 years old. So the competition review, obviously we won the league. Only really because Seychelles United bottled it in the last 3 games. They picked up 3 points from the last 3 games. We picked up 7 to win the league by 2 points. But we were in there at the end. We were fighting for it and we got over the line, which was absolutely fantastic. Seychelles FA Cup, you've just seen us win that one, which is awesome. The Seychelles League Cup, we blew it in the semi-final. We had a 2-goal advantage going into the second leg of that one, and by half time of the second leg we were out of it, losing that one 4-0 if I remember rightly. And Seychelles United actually ended up winning that competition as well. And we won the Seychelles Super Cup at the start of the season, though no one really cares about that competition. We were very briefly in the African Confederations Cup, but we were knocked out of that in the first round because most of our players were on international duty. That was a few episodes ago, and I'm still, maybe that was like a week ago in real life, still annoyed about that. Next season we'll be in the Champions League, and last time we were in the Champions League, the only time in fact we've been in the Champions League, because only the league winners qualify for that competition. We got to the group stages, but then we were completely outclassed in the group stages, but financially we massively benefited from that. I am hopeful that we can get into the group stages again this time around next season and do a lot better. So before we wrap things up, let's just do a quick review of the squad. Looking at the goals first of all, Sandil and Nesta, 23 goals. He was my first choice striker throughout the season. Superb performance from him. Lesperance and Law contributed 26 goals between them, cutting in from the wings and getting onto some really good crosses. Waniza played as my central midfielder attacking for most of the season, got 9 goals for him this season. He had a superb season coming back from a year-long layout with cruciate ligament damage last season. Other players that scored some goals, Lawrence Marie was actually a really good player, 5 goals in 11 ties. He is backup right winger to Lesperance. So I reckon if he played more games, he'd probably scored a similar amount of goals as Lesperance, but unfortunately didn't get the chances. Anakora, backup striker, scored 5 goals from 14 games, 11 of them off the bench. That's a decent record. He's now got 49 and 89 for us, but I suspect he probably won't add a huge amount more from those games because there's no way he's going to get ahead of Nesta longer term if you look at ability, current and potential. A lot of players actually contributed to a goal apiece as well, so that's really good to see that even if our strikers weren't on form, we were finding goals from the rest of the squad. In terms of appearances, we had a very settled side. If we look at in terms of players who played more than 20 games, we had 9 players playing more than 20 games, 4 playing over 30 games, which shows how settled everything was. If we look at how many games we actually played, Edson Fred played 10, Constance played 23, so we played 33 times. No, we played more than that. We played, where's my goalkeepers? 35 games we played. So Juanita played 33 of the 35, and Nesta played 34 of the 35. So no ever presence, but a couple of players who came mighty damn close. In terms of average rating, let's ignore the first couple of players because they played very fleeting appearances. Lesperance is 7.84, Suzette 7.75, Juanita 7.57. That is superb average ratings for these 3 guys. And they're only 19, 20 years old. So these guys are just going to improve and improve and improve as the years go by. If we go through the new gens and the regens that we've had through the save so far, the guys that came in my first season, so 3 years ago now, all got 1 in front of their names. It came in the second season, there's 2, and so on and so forth. So this season's players have all got a 4 in front of their names. So we've got a few players. Not many of the first intake are still with the club, and only Tamanga Suzette is a first team regular now. 31 games and 3 goals from him. In terms of the second year graduates, regular performance was Anise and Innocent Suzette in the centre of defence. So Suzette didn't feature massively since the last intake day. Jeremiah Rose was a bit of a squad player, 24 games, but 15 of those from the bench. He's played 49 times in the league now for a season, and I very much doubt he's played more than 15 from the start. So as I said in the live com, this guy is a perennial substitute. Other players to mention in the second string was Anakora as my right back. A solid season at 7.12 in that position. In terms of the third years, Ernesto is the standout player from that one. 23 games from his 34 matches. Really, really good season. You know, the average rating was slightly lower than you'd expect from someone who scored 23 goals. When he didn't score a goal, he did have a very, very poor game. So maybe to look 34 for next season. But 23 from 34, I will not complain too much. So the new guys that came through, Edson Fred is our first choice keeper now, 7.05 from his 10 games, 5-star current ability player. He is a superb player for us, comfortably the best goalkeeper in the league at only 17 years old as well. It's always nice to have a really, really good goalkeeper. Jerome Lister did a decent job. 7 appearances, but did get sent off in one game as well, which probably affected the average and slightly, but 7.50 is not something to be sniffed at. Mamunga Bibi 7.23, Schumacher Sofolo 7.45 from his 4 games. So lots of decent potential coming through in those guys. By far my best ever intake, and I do have some really, really good facilities, which I'll show you in a brief moment's time. In terms of the guys we inherited when we first took over, Agafinfi had a disappointing season, 24 games, mostly from the bench really. 6.93, he's 20 years old now, and even though he looks pretty good, he's not really performing the last couple of seasons, so he may get moved on at some point. I do have a squad of about 45, 46 players, and ideally I want to make sure that's no more than 30 players. Devaldo Hall has been with us since the start, 25 games, probably going to be a backup, left back or right back. He can play both positions, which is really, really good. Lauren Lesperance, as mentioned previously, superb and key players for us. And then the rest of the guys have been squad players, Maria Mafiot and Peter Suzette. Have all done solid jobs for us over the years, played over 70 times, all 3 of them have, but they're more squad players now. I maybe look to cull some more players out now from our squad. Manes Marie is one who has potentially ran his race for us. 2-star current ability, 2-star potential. He was at full international. Though I like him. He's a guy that just comes on and does a decent job when required. He doesn't cause me any problems in the dressing room as well. Not that I actually have a proper dressing room, but you know what I mean. So I might keep him around. Who knows? We shall see in the next episode when we start the next season, which will be season number 5. So in terms of the club, at the moment we're still semi-professional. That won't change until we get a huge wedge of money through the door. Finances, which will be a good one to show. First, are good, £475,000 in the bank. We lost 175 grand last season. This season we've gained 35 grand. The Champions League campaign that we're going to have is going to hopefully boost that dramatically. Even if we go out of the first round, I still think we get about £30,000, which is not to be sniffed at in any way, shape or form. If we get to the group stages, we're guaranteed about £500,000 from the campaign, so that will be a massive boost to my finances, and that will mean I'll be able to get an improvement to some of our facilities. Training facilities are basic, youth facilities are below average. They need a lot of work, but there's a lot of money to go into those. I'm also hoping to turn professional in the next 4 or 5 seasons and improve the ground facilities and maybe move to a new stadium. That would be really, really nice. But we need cash for that. They're not going to go into professional status until I've got at least £1 million into the bank account. We don't need to in a lot of ways, but it's something to aim for, really, isn't it? In terms of junior coaching, it's excellent. Youth recruitment is established. Those two are by far a million miles ahead of anyone else at this level of football, which is why we're seeing some really, really good players. We are going to go from strength to strength over the next few years, hopefully dominating everything and looking towards moving into dominating in the, I'm not going to say European, but African continental competitions. Just have a look and see how I'm rated by the board. I'm still only favoured personnel, which is a bit disappointing. I've given you 2 league titles, and you still don't think I'm a favoured personnel. Fine, whatever. So when this is our best 11 after the 4th season, still playing the original 4-3-3 wide formation, which I started with before going to a more successful 4-5-1 for this season. Thomas Hall, the goalkeeper. Sifofo Rose at left back, Devaldo Hall at right back. Innocent Suzette and Mafiot and 2 central defenders. Suzette, Agafinfi and Suzette in the middle. Law, Lesperance from the wings, and Nesta up front. Over the next couple of seasons, I would imagine we'll have more and more good players coming into this, especially the 3s and the 4s. Nesta is the only one of the 3s in there at the moment. That is definitely going to change over the next couple of seasons. There's a number of players here who are definitely not good enough to be in a so-called best 11 for us going forward, but we'll soon find out how that changes. End of season awards, Lesperance Player of the Year, no real shame about that. He's also the young player of the season. Thomas Samanga Suzette, second best, and Edgar Winiza, third best as well. It's really, really good. Season review, winner, 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 chicken dinner. Apologies, that is a cliched phrase, but who cares? Lost in the semi-final, which made it a perfect season. There we go. We use 33 players, which is the highest in the Premier League. I don't care about that, in all honesty. I've got so many good young players coming through here. I'm delighted to have so many in the squad. Dynamics, that's a worry at the moment. We've got no real leaders, because no one really old enough to be in there. We've got 41 other players as well, so players will have to leave the club over the next few weeks and months before next season, just to cull that down a little bit. Border love me, which is really, really good, and nothing really much in terms of injury. So I think we will leave that episode there. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Hope you have enjoyed, and if you do enjoy it, please do leave a like below. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. So I've been the If and Novice, you've been my audience. We'll talk again very, very soon. Have a good evening.